Oh. No, you've earned your answers. Calliope came to me years ago. She'd grown tired of arguing with the idols, tired of being branded a troublemaker. She couldn't watch the idols wither away without a fight. I knew how she felt, so I gave her the apartment.
Okay. So there was no conflict at all.
That's it? No fights, no conflict of any kind?
Why would there be?
Because you're you, Persephone.
No. Not recently. Calliope and I haven't spoken for at least 2 years. After I heard the news, I went to the apartment and turned it upside down. I had to know the truth.
That was you?
I didn't find anything. Nothing to say what she had been involved with, or gotten into, or who she might have been fighting with.
Tampering with evidence, still a suspect. Sounds suspicious.
I don't know. That sounds suspicious.
I hoped I could find evidence, something that made sense. But no, it was only you.
I made sense?
You were there, you were covered in her blood. There was no other explanation. But now I'm not so sure.
If it wasn't Grace, that means someone else was behind Calliope's death. Someone who could keep their involvement hidden.
One of us.
Must it be an idol?
Does it have to be an idol? You thought I killed Calliope. Couldn't it have been some other mortal?
Despite how he might look, it's not a simple matter to kill an idol.
It was difficult enough to believe you had done it. If another mortal killed her, they somehow escaped detection. We found nothing, no evidence of a battle.
You looked?
Of course we looked. What do you think was happening while you waited? If Calliope was attacked elsewhere, even magic revealed no trace of it.
Wait, then why did they think Grace did it? If Grace was just some rando normie. And if they're like, no, a normal person couldn't have done it, why would they think she had done it in the first place just because she was there? It's like they just kind of used her as a scapegoat, so they didn't have to look into it further.
Wait. Did you say magic?
You can battle me through a song in a world of your own creation, and yet magic is beyond belief?
Well, sure. I just thought...
We have our powers just as you have yours.
I can grow a field of corn like nobody's business.
Some would say our powers are also magic, but true magic is a different and older power. Hecate's domain.
And it was of no use here.
We shouldn't rule it out. We haven't tried everything yet.
Yeah, did she have any enemies? It seemed like she was a bit aggressive and combative to people. So she had to have like someone who was a little bit more, peeved with her than others.
Did Calliope have any enemies? The way you talk about her, she must have. What? What am I missing?
Well, Calliope had a way of making people angry. She could be argumentative.
Yes, but enough to make enemies who wanted her dead?
Not that you or I know of, apparently, but that doesn't mean they didn't exist.
Okay. Wait, shouldn't we talk to Athena about this?
Couldn't we go to Athena with this? If you've changed your minds and you're both part of the chorus...
Athena would be sympathetic, but the die has been cast.
She won't go back on the edict, not without clear evidence.
Oh, now you want evidence.
She acted on the information she had. If we want to sway her, we need something better.
They didn't have any evidence, though. technically, yet Grace was caught red-handed with Calliope's blood on her hands. But that doesn't mean anything. Like, they didn't find any weapon on her. They said it's difficult to kill an idol. And she just kind of fell down, covered in blood. And it got on Grace, because she went to seek out Grace to pass on her Eidolon, knowing that she was going to die. And from what Hermes said, it seems like before they die, they know they're going to die. So, yeah, it feels weird. Could Athena be involved?
What about Athena? She seemed awfully insistent on declaring me guilty, don't you think?
Athena? No, Athena follows the rules.
Well...
Athena has one goal, and one goal only. To protect the idols. And that included Calliope. She'll eventually drive us all mad with her vigilance, but break her own rules? I don't see it.
What about Pan? He's also seems suspicious. He may not be the killer, but it feels like he knows more than he's letting on, or he's trying to take advantage of the situation for his own gain.
What about Pan? He showed up at my place out of nowhere, right after I left the chorus.
He did what?
I have to wonder what his angle is.
He has one, that's for certain. Though I've never thought of him as a killer. It would be too... messy.
Still, we should consider the idea. For him to show up so quickly is... odd.
He might be working with, like, the killer. Like I'm not gonna say you're both still suspects. You don't just be pointing that type of thing out to someone who might be a suspect. You don't point at someone and be like, you're a suspect in the murder case still, after talking to them. You want them to think that you've kind of like, they've earned your trust a little bit. So you can keep them in the radar.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do. You know the idols. Don't you have any ideas?
I told you I wouldn't be of much help, Grace.
Did you now? That's unsurprising. When are you ever of help to anyone but yourself?
Says the woman who forced Grace to challenge her rather than answer a simple question.
Calliope died, Apollo. Calliope, who came with us all the way from the old world.
You think I don't know that? Are you forgetting what the Muses meant to me?
Okay. How come I still can't do this? That's so weird. I did that whole song doing like this. You know what? Stop fighting.
Stop it! Stop fighting! Is this what the idols are like? You just what? Live forever and never get over anything? Super. Becoming a god was such a gift. Wow.
Calliope, I'm listening now. Tell us what end you were doomed to.
Calliope, blinded by fire, one match did you strike that consumed you.
How could you blame her? What could she have done to earn such a fate? You are blinded.
God of the sun hides from his own eyes. What would you know about fate?
You say that you know her, she was family to us, yet you don't hesitate to accuse her. Oh, queen without a throne, go bitter with fury. Not everyone seeks to betray you.
Stop this.
Every action comes with a cost.
And who could she have crossed and lost to?
Apollo, your help is not needed here. Go ahead and abandon another muse.
How could you throw that gauntlet at me? Could your heart shrivel any further?
abandoned me to
of
a terrible fate.
You replay your injuries
It's
till
far
it's
too
too
late.
late.
You know how far I bent
I
before
am
I
trapped.
snapped.
This is not about you. Enough! This helps no one.
There he is, god of the sun.
Aren't you a queen with all that means? Stop looking for a fight. These old wounds, they have you paralyzed. Calliope would want more from you.
She wanted so much more.
She is gone. Follow him or stay.
That was not my finest moment. Persephone will never let this go.
Yeah, what was that all about?
What the hell was that? You were one step away from full thunder and lightning.
Old habits die hard, especially around my family. That's why I've tried to avoid my fellow idols for so long. I don't like who I am when I'm with them.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I know what you mean. I'll be 14 around my parents forever.
Try living in their house for 1,000 years.
Ooh, no thanks.
At least coming here was useful. You have a better idea of where to start looking, right?
Is Athena really not an option?
I have to ask, is Athena really not an option? She wouldn't see what you see? At all?
I respect Athena. She has dragged us into the modern age, sometimes kicking and screaming. She's why we're alive. But if I said that her need to keep us safe didn't drive her to extremes, I'd be lying. You represent a risk, Grace. To her, that is more important than any notion of compassion or justice.
Yeah, how am I a risk?
I'm not that much of a risk, am I? I won't explode. What's the worst that could happen?
The worst is that we could be admitting either a murderer or a usurper into our ranks.
How awful.
She's protecting an idea as much as a physical reality. It's true. To her, there is no difference.
You still helping?
I thought you'd decide that getting me into the underworld was enough.
What? Bring you to Persephone and then shrug? Not my problem now?
Appreciated.
What I meant to say is... thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Sorry. I'm not used to asking people for help.
It's all right. I certainly know that tune.
Where do we look then?
I need to give it some thought. This won't be easy. If another idol is behind this, they know as well. They had a plan.
So you don't know where to look next?
I need time to sort it out. Just be patient, Grace.
Is there anything I can do in the meantime? Someplace I can look?
Don't you want to relax? You haven't rested since this began.
Relax? Who can relax? I've been sentenced to death, Apollo.
Fair point. Even so, go home, Grace. The next time you see me, I'll have a better notion of what to do.
Fine. But I'm holding you to that.
I got 2 achievements. Finished Act 1 and remained at Apollo's side.
Hey, Freddy. Have you been waiting up this whole time?
Yeah? A goat man sends you off into the night. Your life is on the line. And I'm gonna, what, sleep? I was so worried after you left, and well, I also felt like crap. You were right to be mad. I said I'd support you as your friend, and I didn't. I don't know why I acted like that. I just had this image of you being swept off into some new world without me.
Yes, forgiven.
Don't even sweat it, Freddy. This isn't exactly a normal situation.
That's true. I got carried away by your magical song isn't our usual kind of fight.
Just wait until Kaz and Brian hear about this.
Nuh-uh. No, the band can wait. First, tell me everything that happened since I saw you last. Huh. Persephone runs a club called the Underworld. That's a little on the nose.
I wouldn't suggest saying that to her face.
And you ended up siding with Apollo? Lord of the Sun, god of prophecy? Do you trust him?
I think so. I think he's on the level.
I'm not sure. I think so. It doesn't seem like he's lying, but he's hard to read.
Famous last words.
Tell me about it.
So, what are your options? You need to go back to Apollo's place, right?
I could go back to the underworld. Make sure Persephone isn't taking my decision personally.
Oh, and, there's this. Pan left a card, says, "Come by Olympus." I doubt he means the mountain in Greece.
I just spoke to him.
I just spoke to him at the underworld. If he wanted something, why didn't he just talk to me there?
Because he's creepy and wants to get you alone?
Still not a fan?
You know how some people just set your teeth on edge? That's Pan. I can't help it. But it doesn't matter. I said I'd help, and that's what I'll do. You can count on me, Grace.
Thanks, Freddy.
The muse! Oh, the embodiment of inspiration! Can you believe it?
Yeah, kinda.
Interesting. Oh, I have choices. On day 2, we got choices finally. We got Pan, Persephone, or Apollo. Apparently, after years of arguing with the idols and making everyone angry, Calliope finally left Olympus. That's when she became friends with Persephone, who gave her the apartment. However, Persephone says they haven't spoken in 2 years, so she doesn't know what Calliope's been doing lately either. Ran into none other than Hermes at the Underworld. I'm pretty sure they didn't follow me there. They were just vibing. You know, for an idol, they don't seem that bad. Would you believe Hermes has only been an idol for a year or so? They talk a lot about the old Hermes, so I guess they must have gone through something like me. They were there when the old Hermes died and his Eidolon passed on to them. How often does that happen, I wonder? They answered one question at least about how they showed up at the apartment so quickly. Apparently when idol dies, Hermes has to be there. Whoever Hermes is at the time, I guess. They were kind of close-mouthed about it, but they just know. Strange story, but what else is new? Hey. Wow, seeing Apollo and Persephone biting each other's heads off was really eye-opening. Do all the idols hold grudges against each other like this? If so, it's no wonder one of them got murdered. Harsh. We got what we went for at the Underworld, but Apollo and Persephone just couldn't stand working together for more than 5 minutes. Finally, he had enough, and so did I. Thankfully, Apollo is still willing to help me out. So much for I'll just make everything worse, Grace. But says he'll need to give our next step some thought. There's an idol behind it all, and they're a tricky one, which you know. Fantastic, exactly what I need. You don't know much about Athena still, right? Persephone laughed when I asked if Athena might be a suspect, like the suggestion was ridiculous. Athena's entire existence is based on protecting idols, and apparently she'd never break her own rules. Sounds so fun. Okay, Apollo gave me a lowdown on Persephone. Apparently the whole story about how she was kidnapped by Hades, Lord of the Underworld, is more or less true. He made Persephone his bride against her will, and the other idols did squat to stop it. What the stories don't mention is how she later killed Hades and took his throne, only to have that throne taken away by the other idols as punishment for the murder. Persephone's pretty pissed about it still, and honestly, who wouldn't be? Gosh, isn't Persephone a peach after biting my head off? She refused to answer any of our questions or be remotely helpful unless I first engaged her in battle. Musical battle, which I did, because that's apparently something I do. Sadly, she didn't have a lot to add. She gave Calliope the apartment, sure, but because Persephone felt sorry for her, they haven't spoken in maybe 2 years. Seems like the idols do this a lot. Things broke down between Apollo and Persephone very quickly. Persephone just couldn't resist taking pot shots, and Apollo couldn't help but respond. It was pretty sad to watch. Eventually, Apollo lost his cool completely and stormed out. I went with him. At least we got what we came for. Pan. Yeah, I actually ran into Pan again at the underworld just by coincidence, so he says hanging around in the very place his tip eventually led me to. Granted, the underworld is his kind of place, but what are the odds? Pan agreed to help me find Persephone, who either didn't know I was at the club or was avoiding me. The place is huge. And this time he didn't even ask for anything in return. I just had to bat my eyelashes at him and say pretty please. Neither Apollo nor Persephone seems to consider Pan much of a suspect. He's not a murderer, according to them, even though his sudden involvement is really suspicious. Eros. Met Eros, the god of sex, just hanging around in the underworld. Looking like a Turkish wrestler taking a quick break from his BDSM dungeon. He was nice enough if kind of wrapped up in his own problems. Hardly seemed the killer type, but what do I know? And more about Freddy. Of course, Freddy was waiting up when I got back from the underworld. She apologized for how things went down with Pan during the song. But honestly, I get it now. My power draws the good and bad out of people, and I don't always get to choose which it will be. At any rate, it's good that I have Freddy at my side during all of this. Okay, so I don't trust working with Pan. Persephone still hates us. So let's talk to Apollo.
Ah, Grace, you're back. That's good. I was just about to call you.
He means he wants me to call you because Paul here still hasn't figured out how to use a phone.
That's not true. I know how, I just don't like them. They're confusing. Anyhow, I've been contemplating our list of suspects, and I think Pan is someone we need to consider.
Yeah. True. But hold on, what's this about phones?
Wait. You don't like phones?
I just don't like talking to people I can't see.
No, it's the ringtones. They scare the crap out of him. I kid you not.
I'm not frightened. Only a child would be frightened. They're just very loud.
Yeah.
Can we return to the subject of Pan, please?
Yeah, I thought you discounted Pan.
Why Pan? I thought you'd rejected him as a suspect.
Persephone did, but I've had time to think it over. Pan is a schemer, a traitor in favors. He always has been. His sudden appearance in all this cannot be coincidental.
You think he could have killed Calliope after all?
Perhaps. Or he knows who did and is trying to turn it to his benefit. He always knows more than he pretends.
You should know. Pan asked me to meet him at Olympus. I'm not sure why.
Wait, he wants to see you again? I don't like this.
Yeah, me neither.
Neither do I. He decided I owe him a favor after he came to my apartment.
That sounds about right for him. Aphrodite is holding a party of sorts, one you should attend. She is closest to Pan. Indeed, she knows almost all the idols. If anyone is up to something, she's bound to know.
What if she is up to something, though? What kind of party is this?
What do you mean by a party of sorts? I mean, I'm always down for a party, but...
It's more of a remembrance than a party, really. It's difficult to describe.
That's awfully vague, Apollo.
It'll be easier to see for yourself. It's nothing you can't handle.
What can't you do to talking?
You know Aphrodite better than I do. Can't you talk to her?
Well, talking to Aphrodite isn't something anyone does with much success these days.
Well, if that's the case, what makes you think I'll get anywhere?
There's a standing invitation for the Muse to attend this party. Calliope never went, so Aphrodite will be thrilled to see you. Trust me. If I thought you couldn't get her to talk, I wouldn't suggest it.
You mean sing?
Okay, I'll go. Eventually.
Perfect. I will see you there.
Paul, you should see this. The names you wanted me to look up are getting weird results.
I don't doubt it. I was hoping you could...
Get over here!
No worries, Paul. I'll see you later.
Why would you stay? To find out the names. Why wouldn't you stay? Yeah, we're not talking to Pan. It's not gonna happen. Persephone, I still think hates me, so let's go to Aphrodite's party.
Fancy party? Check. Bunch of strangers? Check. Grace totally not dressed for the occasion? Check. Now, if only I knew what I was supposed to be doing here.
Grace, you made it. I'm so glad. I was beginning to wonder.
You didn't say this was a fancy party. I feel a little underdressed.
Grace, look at me. I didn't even button up my shirt. It's fine.
Why is everyone so quiet? You'd think someone died.
I should have told you about this earlier. I've been putting it off.
That doesn't sound
I
good.
don't like the sound of that. What am I missing?
You don't have any of Calliope's memories, right? No deja vu, recollections that aren't your own?
No. Should I have?
Not right away. For a while, you won't remember anything. We call it the veil. In time, the veil will start to lift, slowly at first, but eventually you'll remember almost everything Calliope did.
Okay. Wouldn't that mean you would know who killed her if you waited long enough? Nobody mentioned this before.
Seems like the sort of thing you should tell a new idol.
New idols are usually chosen. You would know about this already, except...
Except Calliope was murdered.
Well, remember how old we all are. There are so many memories. So the veil lifts gradually to protect you. Eventually, it's like a flood. It becomes difficult to separate what's you and what's them, and all who came before them.
Not sure what to think about that.
That's a lot to take in. I'm not sure what to think.
I understand. Take some time to let it sink in. If you like, we can talk about it later.
What does this have to do with the party?
Aphrodite hasn't been the same since we came to the New World. She has horrific memories of what she endured during the war. Passing on her Eidolon is a way to forget, for a while. That's what this party is for.
Wait. Yeah, don't you pass on the Eidolon before you die?
When you say she's gonna pass on her Eidolon, you mean...
She's going to die, yes, and pass her soul on to a chosen successor.
in front of everyone?
We're here to help, Grace. To make it easier for Aphrodite to do what she feels she must. We're here to say goodbye. At least for a while.
Well, of course she's done this before, they all have. Do you support this?
Do you support what Aphrodite is doing here?
It's not my choice to make, Grace.
Yeah, but you must have an opinion.
Eventually you will remember what we experienced during the war. And eventually you will remember that what Aphrodite experienced was far worse. If this is the mercy she requires, I will not tell her she should not take it.
Get it? Yeah.
Okay, so what did Aphrodite want Calliope to do? What did she want me to do?
Well, knowing Aphrodite, she'll want you to make a production of it all. She's not here just yet. Until she arrives, I suggest mingling.
Mingling.
Yeah, mingling. Talk to Eros. Or we can talk more if you like. Just try to relax, Grace.
Sure, yeah. Relax. That's what this party is for, right?